Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is my part one for my red roses. As you can see, I had already blocked in most of the roses with a just sort of base red color with some shadowing to just give me a roadmap of some of the larger structures. What we're going to talk to you about today is some of the things I would have done differently. I'm a new painter here, and therefore I'm learning as I go. And watching back these videos gives me an idea of what I would do differently in the future. So, first things first, I think I would have started with more of a mid-tone red. I think my base color for my light red is just a little bit too vibrant for this step in the process. Don't get me wrong, I really like the high chroma red and I do want it to be at that kind of color, but I think this early on, I set myself up for not having enough wiggle room to push my lights lighter and push my darks darker. Secondly, I intentionally didn't sketch out this rose. I just did a huge base shape, which you saw at the beginning of this video, with just some of my kind of burnt umber undertones, just to get a generalized shape. However, as a new painter, I found that trying to get the petals in the right shape and in the right color and the right shade was really difficult, just kind of mapping them out. So I feel like if I would have sketched out a little bit more of the detail prior to starting this painting, it would have just gone a little bit smoother and a little bit faster. I really enjoyed doing the free painting, the loose painting. It's really relaxing and fun to get a little creative and see how good you can make it look like your reference photo, but also keeping your artistic kind of freedom. However, being newer, like I said, I feel like this was definitely a challenge, and I made a lot of mistakes along the way, just needing to recorrect petals. Like I pre-put in some shadow areas when I was squinting and doing my foundational colors, and I felt like I needed to go over them and fix some of the petal layout. I'm going back and forth from light and dark with different brushes and then using a dry brush to blend and smooth out some of my lines and colors, trying to make this rose look a little bit more natural. I have two young children, so I have to be really considerate about my time. I can't work on this all day or all night. I really only have maybe max an hour a day I can work on this. And so I have to work with the palette that I have. So I'm not mixing a bunch of paint and jumping from spot to spot. That's why you'll see me primarily just working on the roses and not touching the leaves, because I'm trying not to waste a bunch of paint and jump all over the canvas. That being said, I am considering trying acrylics. Just the fact that they dry so much faster might be more ideal for me in my situation. However, I'm just loving oil paint so much. I feel like I want to get a good base with this first before trying a new style. I know they're very similar, but they are different. So once I get this oil down, maybe I'll move to acrylic. I am using water-based soluble oils. Um, I like the idea of having a little less toxicity in the house with the solvents. I did start with normal traditional oil paints, but I was feeling a little uncomfortable with all the chemicals in the house with having two little children running around. And I found that the water soluble works really well. Like I said, the two big things that I would change, I would start with a more muted, less chromatic red for my lights so that I have more room to move up in the chroma in the light areas. And I would have probably sketched a little bit more detail in the petals just to give myself more of a roadmap to follow. Then I wouldn't have felt so jumbled inside that center rose. I'll have a part 2 coming up where I continue on with the process, continuing to learn, continuing to evaluate my process, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. Things that I would have done differently, things that I liked. I'll just let you continue this video for now. Thanks.